that these three cameras get me. My people, never doubt the love that I have for thee. This is the third week of these live broadcasts, the third day of the third week. And I have created the most bootleg arrangement for you guys to watch me live that I've ever seen. If you knew the things that I've stacked upon each other, one on top of each other for this thing to work out. But such is a love for me. Facebook is flickering. I cannot help you. I'm using a different device today. I pray that all goes well with Facebook. If that's not working for you, jump on Instagram, jump on YouTube. People, this bus is leaving. My name is Modesta Maiga Buguni, and I am your executive leadership coach, career advisor, and business consultant. This is my third week. Listen, coronavirus has nothing on us. Now, I'm not making light of it because I do understand people are losing their lives. And some leaders are better than others at instituting policies and putting in programs that are bringing relief to people, but that is not the topic that I'm coming to you with. That is not my area of expertise at the moment. Today, I want to talk to you about you and your business. What I've decided during this pandemic, during this crisis, is that I can only think about and work on what I can do. If I can get food together and take it to people, I'll get food together and take it to people. If I can help somebody else stand, if I can review somebody else's documents, if there's something that I can physically do, I will do that. But I will not allow this pandemic to have me panic and go crazy because of all the things I cannot do. Yet I am not God, although I can stand in between and pray, and heal and bring solutions. So just in case you think I'm making light of this, I'm not making light of this, but tell me if you don't need to hear from somebody speaking about something that you can influence. And so I started out the first week speaking to people in their career, people who are wondering whether their jobs will survive. Many people have already lost theirs. Just yesterday, I saw a post, 25 people have lost their jobs, no social structure, no government interventions, where this post was to help people. Another post I saw, it was a restaurant owner in another context, another economy, another country that has to open, is forced to open shop, but understands that the economy, is not ready for it, health-wise and infection-wise, people are not ready for it. And they understand that should they defy this call to take action and reopen, then there will be a lot of liabilities on them, on them as the owner. It's going to affect his people, it's going to affect, his taxes. So things are grave for people in the career and for businesses. Things are great for us at home, as parents, as children who are taking care of our parents. I understand. But what I've decided is to come to you definitely every single day for the past 3 weeks. Started, I was speaking about career, was talking about how to position your brand differently in your market to distinguish yourself last week. And this week, I am coming to you to talk to entrepreneurs looking at how to pivot in times of crisis. Yesterday, we really came to a point to ask, do I shut down? Do I, work at limited capacity? Somebody's like every single day, lady, but not forever. So grab these things while you can. By the way, every single thing I put out to you guys is on YouTube. So if you miss the lives, if you wonder, what I'm going to post next, if there's a topic that's been burning and you shared with me, you'd like to see addressed, go to Purpose and Lessons Academy on YouTube. I'll probably address it there. If not, DM me, let me know, and I'm going to make sure to address it. If it relates to you and your career and business success and how you can distinguish yourself to have impact, I'm your girl. Today, we're talking about how to know what your customers want and are willing to pay for. Because one of the knee-jerk reactions that I was talking about yesterday during times of crisis is people feeling as if they need to give discounts, they need to be more considerate of the customers. I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that. You guys know I'm all for that. They need to somehow give such a good deal in their mind's eyes to the customer, which is usually reduce the price, lump up a bunch of value added services for the client to want to engage with them. But it's not even necessarily so. Your client will want to engage with you whether or not you're giving those crazy discounts. And even if you do, and I'm all for it, you guys know that a few months ago I offered the master plan class for $97 for a course that's $687. So I am all for that. But I want you to make your decisions right now during crisis. I would like you to consider, when you're thinking about how to pivot your business, how to pivot your strategy, based on your plan and not panic. Don't feel like, oh, so-and-so who's also in the same business as me is doing that. If I don't do that, I will not survive. Don't do it because everybody else is. Don't do it because you are assuming that your clients, would not be willing. I'm not going to pay for this right now. Let's make informed decisions. Is that all right? So today, as we're starting, today is a very, very coaching type of a conversation. So please get your notepad and pen, Modesta, and her homework. I'm starting from go. I would like you, as always, you guys know I'm always talking about, so this back and forth, guys, is because I have two computers perched in a way that I can't even explain, and a mobile phone somewhere there. So I am on YouTube here, Instagram is on mobile, and Facebook, which is flickering. I pray all is going well with you, Facebook, is on another laptop. I always start with the person. Before we talk about your career and your business impact, before we talk about all that you want to do in the market, I start with you. So as you're asking yourself, what do my customers want and would be willing to pay for? I want you to start with you. What do you do consistently well? When times are good, when times are bad, when you're in a great mood, when you've just had it, what can you? I'm about to choke. Water comes in handy. Guys, I get excited. What do you do well all the time? What do you do well consistently? Because it is this one package that you're going to take out to your customers. And you can get a hint of this. I've got my little notes here. You get a hint of this on what people come to you for. I just had a conversation with somebody, and I see you. Hey, sis Lydia. I just had a conversation with Lydia, who's my client, about all the talents and the skills and oh my goodness, the length and the breadth of her expertise. She is versed in so many areas. And so if I were to ask her this question, which I am because she's on the live feed, what do people come to you for? Note that down, because you're about to package something to take it to your customers and have them willing to pay for it. I also want you to think about, because you could find there's some things that you do well, but you're not necessarily really all that moved. I mean, you're not really excited about it, but you can do it well. I'd like you to also ask yourself, what do you enjoy doing? What do you enjoy so much that you don't even notice the time go by? Note those things down, because we're about to flip these things, put them together and take them to market and make some money. The second thing that I want to ask, even before we really talk about packaging what you can do, whether it's a service you offer or a product that you offer, like a tangible physical product that you offer, is who do you feel that you're called for? And now all you multi-talented people out there, which are a lot of people that I speak to, you will have to choose. Because one of the things, started early, the fire. One of the reasons why we're unable to have traction, which means we're unable to establish ourselves as a personal brand, at giving the image and impression we want people to have of us, is because we give too many images and impressions. So people don't even know what you really stand for or what you don't. So what are we coming to you for? Is it this? Is it that? What are you doing? So one day you're displaying, clothes that you're selling. The next day it's eggs. The day after, you give fumigation services. The day after that, you're doing consulting services for small businesses. And then after that, we hear that you have a place to maybe hire, maybe it's a hall for events. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a serial entrepreneur, with having all kinds of different areas in which you're leveraging. I am all for monetizing all my skills, and I am all for really growing, diversifying my portfolio so that this could take a while to bring in money. This one is on a daily. This one is selling something that people absolutely need, maybe water. This one is people cannot do without. Whatever it is, I am all for that. But when you are daily coming to the face of people, understand it's the same people. I remember I saw this one day. I don't know what beef this person had, but this person said, you keep putting the same, I don't know who they were saying it to. You know how sometimes people would just put comments out there, but they're targeting someone, and they would say, you keep putting the same image on your story. What's it called? Like on your post and on your story. What are we supposed to say? Like, oh, nice again, or oh, cool, or the point is, it's the same people that will continue seeing your stuff. So if I'm selling eggs today, tomorrow, and I show up and I'm telling you I've got the best, clothes or shoes from wherever, the day after that I've got a hall that you can rent, the day after that I'm talking to you about giving you consulting services for your business, you might be like, wait, what is this? Are you an agent for all these businesses? Is this really you? So then people don't know what to come to you for or what not to come to you for. So one of the first things that you will do as you're thinking about who you're called to, you'll have to choose. But let's say if I choose the customers that I'm serving, isn't that leaving money on the table? No, it's not. It's just getting very specific about who you are speaking to so that they can hear themselves. They can hear their challenges. They can hear their needs. They can hear their struggles in what you're saying. And understand, and you may not want to hear this during times of crisis. It may take you 6 months, 1 year, or longer for people to trust you. Then that's just a whole other topic that I'm going to bring up today. So you want to make sure that you are so specific about who you're speaking to and so articulate about it that when they need someone, your name comes to mind because you've created that image and impression of who you are to them. So I come to you and I say, hey, my name is Modesta Maigan Buguni. And, the times I say from Modesta.Africa. And I am your executive leadership coach, career advisor, and business consultant. Why? Because I want you to so perceive me. And I'll continue to say that so that you hear that ringing in your mind. So who are you called to serve? You've thought about what it is that you do really well. The thing that people usually come to you for, if it's several things, I'm not saying don't do them. I'm all for monetizing, diversifying your portfolio so that you can earn from different streams. But I would like you to prioritize. Wherever it is you're going to speak, understand you're going to speak to those people. And for you to capture their attention, they need to hear their needs met in what you're saying. They need to see a guide in where they need direction from you. If people want eggs, and I'm talking about eggs, and then tomorrow the egg people are coming to me for eggs, and I'm talking about, my event, hall, and the day after that, I'm talking to businesses about how I can help them with enterprise resource planning. I mean, guys, I'm really getting far-fetched. Then none of them know what to do because every time they show up, I've said something different. And given the fact that they need a long time of working with me and trusting me before they will do business with me, they have to start all over again. So one of the things that I have found effective to do is I have guided myself in what I'm saying to you different times of the week so that I can really stick to what I'm really saying. And there's a little nice thing that I did, well, I think it's nice, is that Wednesdays is dedicated to P31 Women Air so that I can speak to women, although I'm not speaking to women alone all week long, but I wanted a day for women. And I wanted a day to really speak to the mental health, the emotion, the confidence building in women. But if I did that every single day of the week, I would lose people. They're not just men. I may even lose some women that may not be interested in that. They want career and business advice. Do you get me, people? Does somebody feel me? All right, so we're moving on. I would like you, as you're thinking through, what, if you're multi-talented, what of the many things that I can do and I do well and people usually come to me for, do I want to put forward to my customers? So that you can start building your messages and building the way you're engaging with them to speak about those things that they need. So after you've decided what it is that you're offering them, the next thing is to say, well, what exactly is their pain? Who are they and what is their pain? So you're going to write down, so who are you speaking to? You can probably speak to men and women. You can probably speak to people in the career and business. Like me, I just decided I'm speaking to both career and business. But I'm speaking to leaders in both. So then it doesn't matter whether it's career, it's business, it's ministry, it's for-profit, it's non-profit. If you're a leader, you're in decision-making in an organization, I'm speaking to you. But my focus is really, you're going to make a difference in economies, in the marketplace. And so I'm here to support you, to equip you to be effective in what you're doing, and to so deliver what you're doing that you succeed and you live a life of legacy. So you're going to note down, as you want to understand, how do I get customers that are willing and that are going to listen to me and that they will pay for my services. They want them and they're ready to pay for them. Because here's the other thing. I've had a lot of people that want what I'm sharing, but they're not willing to pay for them. You are not my people. People who would hang around but are not willing to, they're not necessarily my customers, but it doesn't mean they're not my customers ever. It just means for now. And so I have to so understand, my customer base, that I can pivot, even if it's ever so slightly, tweak my offers so that I can get those that are willing to pay for now. And others will come later. I actually also had somebody today reach out to me after a year where, she was interested in my services, decided that she would go and get services elsewhere. We ended very well. By the way, I always encourage you guys, never burn bridges, never burn bridges. She's come back. We're speaking tomorrow and we're going to have services together. Showed up a year or so later. Great. So what is their pain? This specific customer you're speaking to. What are they going through? And why them? Why do you feel like they're most affected than others? So there are people who will do coaching and consulting just for women CEOs, women in business. Why? Because there is something in what they're offering that they see women need it most. So you may hear, and I'm sorry if this is stereotyping, but you may hear a whole lot more about confidence building, about building a system, about work-life balance, etc. Because many a times women have these multiple social and market roles rather, that balancing could be a challenge. So I want you to think, who am I speaking to? What is, how can I segment them as a market? What are their demographic, psychographic, behavioral, and geographic, differentiators? And you can find this information about how to really define the profile of your ideal customer. You can go to Purposeful Excellence Academy YouTube channel and look at the video under the playlist, Become a Powerful Personal Brand. There is a lesson on how to define your target audience, but you can also, you can do a lot of searches online to get information about what market segmentation is, so that you truly understand your customer. Why? Because you don't want to just say general things that may not be relevant to them. So if at the moment I want to speak to people about how to work effectively online during the lockdown, and the people who are listening to me don't even have smartphones or computers, then it's irrelevant. I'm out there talking to you about going somewhere that you have Wi-Fi, you have a laptop, you can get a subscription on Zoom or whatever. It won't make sense to them. So I really need to understand not only that my customers need my service, your research should go further than just that. You need to understand their lives in totality so that you can know, even in times of normalcy where the world was just going as it was, and now when the world is facing an economic crisis and a health crisis, this pandemic, what then would this target audience of mine, this customer of mine, need? They were doing things like this before. Now they're forced to do things another way. So where, at what point can I come in to serve them? Now this one will get a lot of you going like, ooh, she got me. I want to ask you this. What have you been doing to serve them before you make a business ask? We're out here in terms of crisis. Some entrepreneurs are going to get bored from this pandemic. Like some people will decide that whole instability of just working at a job is not for me. I have decided moving forward in my life, I'm also going to do my own business. I'm going to have some products out there that somebody, either I have them online or I have somebody who is manning my shop. There is no way that I am going to restrict myself to just my day job ever again. So there's some people out here who are going to be first-time entrepreneurs. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There is enough room. Do not let people tell you different. There is enough room to be an entrepreneur, but you better know your market and you better know your niche, and you should really study your customer, your target customer. But if you've just walked in, I would like to know, how have you so built your personal brand? You say, well, you guys are talking about personal branding. This is just a thing I do. How have you so built your personal brand that people, now that you come to make a business ask, will say, but of course. I mean, you've been an expert in this area. You've added, you've been present. You've been relevant. Everything that you've done brings solutions to us. You add value. Yeah, you're doing this as a business. It's about time. I recently saw that somebody who'd been a lawyer, a senior lawyer in corporate for a long time, who's now decided to start her own firm. And honestly, the first things out of my mouth while I wrote them was, it's about time, because she's amazing at what she does, and so happy to hear that she's just established her own practice. So equally so, whether you've just started or you've been there a while, for you to know what your customers want and will be willing to pay for, one of the things that you must already know is how you've been engaging with them. So I'm going to ask you this. Have you been present, relevant to their needs? Like I said, if I go speaking to people about doing things online and Wi-Fi, they can barely get Wi-Fi, they probably don't have a smart device, then my messages are misplaced. So I want you to think about who your customer is and ask, have I been present to them all this time? Have I been relevant to them in what I'm saying, the things that I'm doing? Have I been adding value, that they see me as a guide, that they see me as this, the person, the business that brings solution in this area? You need to ask yourself that. So we're taking notes today. Because one of the things, apart from, not really articulating your customer very well, and so you're just shooting in the dark, you're not even sure if you're speaking to the right people and whether they would be receptive to what you're saying. Nobody has time for that. Please do your research and be very clear about who your customer is. If you don't know how to go about that, DM me. Just send me a message on Facebook Messenger. You can DM me on Instagram, YouTube. You can leave a comment or send me an email on hello@modessa.africa. And let's have a conversation. Or if you're ready to actually speak through a specific challenge you have, you can go to modessa.africa and book a discovery call with me if you don't know how to do that. But it's key for you to understand what you have been to them before you made the ask. Because sometimes we may show up just once in a while. Sometimes we have not been addressing that area in which we want to bring a solution for our customers ever. We're talking about everything but that. So that when you come, hey, so-and-so, I'm doing this. They're like, from where? First of all, I haven't seen you in forever. We don't have any form of relationship. And I wouldn't even relate you with this area. Like, I don't even know. I wouldn't. Sometimes we might reach out and say, can you please give me a recommendation? Or could you please forward this to other people? No, I will not. Like, I don't even know you to be a person in this area. If I forward to people, that's my brand. That's my name. I'm not attaching my name to you at the moment. This is real talk, guys. Let's just talk about it. People will be like, no, I will not. I mean, they won't say it. Half the time people are like, nice, bless you, goodbye. They've done it to me too. Nice, okay, yeah, nice, thank you. But like, where from? Like, who are you? Why are you here? Right in my face? So the second thing is find out who needs what it is that you have to offer, and why specifically them. Why do you feel that they're affected by this thing more than any other group? Get to know them, not just as regards spending money on this thing that you now want to approach them for. Get to know everything about their lives. It's important for you to do that anyway, to get your customer's profile, their avatar, understand their distinguishing markers in terms of, their demographic, who they are they married, are they not, how old they are, do they have children, where do they work usually, where do they, how much they earn, behavioral, psychographic. First one. Oh, do I have somebody coming in? I think my husband might be coming in. Psychographic markers. So why do they spend? Where do they spend? Where do they congregate? Where will we find them? What kind of things move them? Are they moved by things because it's a thing we do, as women of this age? Is it a thing you do to look cool, to look educated? Is it a thing you do because it's a faith-based thing? Get to know what motivates them. Because at the moment, people aren't, this is normal anyway. People don't make decisions simply because it makes sense. People won't take your offer simply because it sounds good. People are making decisions with their spouses. People are making decisions considering their utilities, their rent. People making decisions considering the investments that they're making, considering, the money they have to send to their families and all kinds of things. So you have to consider who they are and imagine all that they go through and everything that influences them to produce something that they actually would want, because you sound like you really truly understand who they are and the challenges that they have. Then I want you to ask yourself, how am I confident that they would want to buy from me? Now you might say, Modesta, that's kind of unfair. Like, I can't be confident about anyone on anything. You can if you've targeted your people right. If you have targeted your audience right, you can be confident. Maybe not everybody, but I am going to get a certain percentage of the people that I'm speaking to who would be interested in what I have to offer. So how can you do that with confidence? How can you know what your customer base actually wants? What your ideal customer wants? And I've written these things for you to look at. So you can conduct market research, which I would recommend. So you can look at, okay, in this area, what specifically is high in demand? Because there could be a large market of whatever it is that you're serving, right? And then you've decided to narrow yourself into a certain niche. So I could go into all kinds of things. And guys, when I'm consulting as a management consultant, I offer many solutions for my clients. But on social media, I am coming to you as an executive leadership coach, career advisor, and business consultant, speaking to the leaders that are leading organizations where they're employed and their own businesses, or whether it's nonprofits, etc. But if you ask me to talk about strategic planning, I can. If you want me to, to work with you to create a change management initiative, I can do that. If you would like me to, there's several other areas that I can work with you on to create, to do a business development plan for you. We can do that too. But right now, I just want you to hear me speaking to you as an individual that is in this career and that is leading this business or this nonprofit. So do your research and find out what specifically in that niche in which you have decided to place yourself is in high demand, and that people are willing to pay for. So you can find out from the market what is in demand right now. And like I was saying yesterday, and I said the day before, don't just go with business as usual. There is nothing usual about what the world is facing right now. So you would need to dig a little deeper and look at how people have pivoted their spending. Maybe people are spending less because they don't know if they're going to have a job next month. Maybe people are buying in bulk because they don't know if these things will be out of circulation and they won't have them. So think about that. I'm talking about maybe, tangible products. But if it's your services, maybe right now people don't just want to hear about thriving, but they want to know in what is now an uber competitive market, how they can distinguish themselves when there's so many people that are unemployed, or how they can distinguish their business and keep it afloat in times when they're unable to transact as they used to before. These, to me, are, what's key. Be mindful of how the market and specifically your target customer has pivoted in their behavior since COVID-19 hit the world and hit your particular economy in general. I was about to go back to yesterday's topics, but I really need to say today, please go back and watch those videos. I put it on the playlist, Business Success, so you can find all of these videos from this week on that playlist on business success. You can also look at the gap that competitors have left. So if some organization, some business was unable to fulfill all of its demand, there are a lot of people that needed certain services and the market just cannot supply. So there is room for you to enter that market and to grow. It could well be that the feedback is, we're not happy. Maybe it's a state-owned enterprise that's not performing well, or maybe it's just one of two, businesses that are offering this service and they're not doing well because they feel like, they don't have much competition. There is room for you to go in. So doing that research is really key for you to build your confidence that, this is something that they would want from me. I've looked at the market. There is high demand for this at the moment, and the prices that people are ready to pay for make business sense for me. Remember, you're not going to make decisions just based on what you see out there or what you hear out there. You're going to make business decisions based on your plan. Even as you pivot, even as you employ a new strategy for you, you're still looking at your plan. I want you to also get online and look at statistics. So for instance, those of us who are in business and using social media, by the way, can I see a show of hands? If you can say, I, just simply put an I. For those of you that are engaging with your ideal customer through social media, you find that you can look at the statistics. You can look at how each post you're putting performs. You can look at the people who are interested in your products and services. What is their profile, their age group, their gender, what they do, what other things interest them. You can see where they are. So one of my friends, he has a really growing YouTube channel, Ernest Makulilo, and he was saying, I've just noticed that a lot of my people who are watching what I'm sharing are from Germany, Australia, Ghana, and he's Tanzanian. So he says like Tanzania and Tanzanians come in number 4, 5, 6. So now all of a sudden he sees that his business, from following, the analytics that you can pick up from social media, from these platforms, his business is speaking to a different clientele than he initially was targeting. And so he can tailor messages that really speak to them. So do the same for you. You can do key searches. So whether you're searching for your business or you're searching for the areas that your business, has a niche in, and you can see where people are from and what moves people in general. And you can do it specifically for your business to see whenever I put posts out, which posts are doing well, and what kind of themes, what kind of topics interest people, and what kinds of people are these. So you go to the back end and you get to see the profile of the people, what they do, what kind of interests that they have, so that you can, as you are articulating, and you go back and you use the words that have moved them, right? Because you can look at your posts and see what kind of language did I use, what kind of images did I put out, or videos did I put out that seem to interest them. And you can use more of this language and more of these images, to speak to them. And even what times of day would people be more receptive to listening to me, to making the time to speak with me? And of course, you can judge by your performance with them. Like I said before, have you been present? Have you been relevant? Have you added value the whole time before you made that business ask? So if you just show up out of nowhere, then people may not be as receptive to do business with you as if you were a person that had been establishing yourself, that had been creating a specific image and impression that you want your target market to have of you. So if you can confidently say, listen, I have a followership in this area, and people are particularly interested when I'm speaking about this and this aspect, of their need or of their interest. And so I know when I package something and make a business ask, they would be interested in this because this is what they follow me. This is what they seem to like and respond to and engage and save and share with others on. And so I can see that being something that I can really put out as what my ideal customer would want. Now we're starting to talk about and what they would be willing to pay for. Let me say this as a general statement. Add value. Be a person, a business of value. Sometimes we think people and businesses are not willing to pay a certain price point simply because they cannot afford it, but that is not so. I remember when I was consulting, we had these conversations with my team, and there are times that people would say, Modesta, just people won't pay at that point. And then there would be another firm, whether it is a large, maybe multinational that's known, maybe a management consulting firm, or a foreign firm operating, and at that time, it was in Tanzania, operating, in the market that would charge 10 times what we're thinking of asking, and they would be paid for the same service. And so there was a brand name going on, or a specific image or impression that they had created in the minds of my ideal client that they were better suited. And so before you dismiss yourself, like, I do not think I'll find people who pay this. Maybe I'm asking too much, and start shooting yourself in the foot. Start giving discounts, start bringing added value services, start talking about, oh, I understand this. If you can't pay in full, then maybe you can pay a little bit over the next 5 years. Okay, fine, I'm exaggerating, maybe not 5 years. Before you do that, calm yourself down and take note of, what you have built with them all along. If you haven't started building, like I said, start today. Because it's very difficult to trust somebody who just shows up. Hey, would you do this for me? You being who? Why? I see you floating around, but I would not associate you with this thing that you're asking right now. So no, I'm not interested. So that's the first thing. Make sure you're adding value more than you're asking for something. Then the other thing that often gets to us is how we built our business, the business system. So when do you attract prospects? How do you connect with them, engage with them? How do you nurture them in relationship, going back and forth? And so I now have alarms that will tell me when to go back and reply to people on social media. I have alarms that will tell me when to post certain things, alarms that will tell me to follow up with people I've had conversations with before. Do that to nurture that relationship. I will go back to people I had conversations with before, or who had taken, my services before, and, keep tabs with them, stay in touch with them, offer a solution. Sometimes somebody, might say, I'd like to have a conversation with you. My discovery call is $99. You do not get, my hourly rate is several times more than that. But I make a discovery call at that rate so that those who are serious business professionals, and I'm speaking to leaders. One of the reasons, guys, I just wanted to let you know that I'm also speaking to leaders is with the demographic that I am targeting. To get people to be willing to part with US dollars, they need to be at a certain level, most of the times, of seniority to be earning money like that can be disposable for things like I'm asking for. You have to be very strategic about who you're speaking to. So I'm not going to have students who will pay me what I'm asking for my services. And therefore, if there's anything that other people that I'm not targeting can benefit from, I have several free things like Purpose of Excellence Academy YouTube channel that people can go and learn and benefit from that. Somebody says, Taji says, thank you. I promise to invest in the whole class next time. Welcome. I look forward to welcoming you. I'm going to have fun connecting with you. So how do you attract, connect with people, nurture them, and even accommodate at times? So maybe you do not start out by talking about all the discounts and why you want to do something less and why you want to consider. Listen to this customer as they approach you. And then mention, yes. So the first thing you would put out is, this is my offer, full fee is XYZ. Because you want to hear who would be interested in that. If at some point people say, I would be so interested, I love what you do, I love your products and services, they add such value. I mean, I haven't seen anybody really connecting with me and positioning things like you do. I just can't afford to do that right now. Then you can have a conversation about, payment plans, about either they take only an aspect of the service and then build on, or they're able to pay slowly and only then they can have maybe you're holding that product for them till then, because people will take the thing and run away. I've had people take our services and run away. So you can come up with something then. You can think of how to accommodate your clients then. But first of all, you come in with the full ask, because you've so entrenched yourself. You've so built your personal brand, so given them the impression of your expertise and your empathy, how you completely relate with who they are and what they're going through in this area, that people would be willing to have that back and forth dance with you. You can make that full ask, and they would be willing to pay for it. But if for some reason they can't, and you have made a business decision to have this flexibility, remember, I can't afford you, I gotta go, and you just pick up figures from the air. Oh, then I'll give you an 85% discount. Where from? And you find out that it's going to cost you 7 times that to actually deliver the service. So not only now are you not you're not getting what you'd asked for you to be able to sustain your business, you're incurring extra costs in times of crisis to deliver a service simply because you panicked and, I'm going to lose them then. You can lose them and say, I understand, we would offer this. So you come up with an accommodation plan, so to speak. So we can have a payment plan, or you can access this service and then build on as we deliver in that area. You can then have those conversations. If after all of that, they're not interested, yet they are your ideal customer, then make sure to continue nurturing that relationship thereafter. And at some point in future, because you remain present, because you remain relevant, and you continue to add value, they will come back. I have had several people coming back who initially were not ready or didn't want to or could not afford to engage me. But I stood where I stood. What I could be flexible on, that was built into the business. The first thing I articulate is not the discount. I articulate what it is I can offer, the comprehensive service at the fee that service goes for. But in conversation, I will do a little dance with them, because I plan to see where I can give a discount or where I can make allowances that will not affect my bottom line, nor will it affect my effectiveness and the value that I'm bringing to them. If you think, Modesta, either you're saying things I've never thought about before in my business, I just show up and I just put a price, do a sale. Let's have a conversation. You can DM me. If I'm saying things to you that are completely new, if I'm saying things to you that haven't been your practice so far, or I'm saying things that you would be interested in doing but really don't even understand where to start, let's have that conversation and we'll do that. Then you also have to have a way, as you're looking at what they would be willing to pay, is to simplify how people can engage to pay you. So where do people find you? Okay, so I saw you on Instagram. You look at your Instagram messages once in a week. Somebody looked for you last week and they need a service. Oh, they're gone. Or they needed products. They're gone. They've gone to somebody else. There's so many competitors, like millions and millions of people doing something similar to yours. So have a way. So I have my messages, not on Instagram, but on Facebook, that will give you, hi, thank you so much for reaching me. And this is an auto response. You can do that on email. You can do that, on social media as well. And then, make it simple. Click here to pay. Click here to access. Have links to where people can get more information, links to where people can have, can pay easily and securely. And then also you could have policies that guarantee, either, this is a policy for returns. This is a policy if you're not satisfied within a certain period of time. We can do exchanges. Put all of this out there so that people feel like, first of all, they're really good at what they do. I've been watching them for a while. Secondly, they really understand my challenges, and they've been willing to accommodate in what they're presented, to really speak to me. And they make it so easy to engage with them. They respond timely. They respond with easy things that, so sometimes people don't want to be pressured to buy. So you might want to give them brochures. You might want to direct them somewhere where they'll learn more, watch something, and then, comfortably when they want to reach out to you. And you can check on them after, a good enough interval of time, and we can talk about what that means, to check on them, and if they're okay, if they're interested, what particularly interested them, and what are they facing at the moment, and how can you be of assistance. Can they have a conversation with you, maybe that discovery call, that initial conversation, to understand their issues more. So I had that conversation with somebody today on LinkedIn that, so she knows the certain services I have, and I shared the details of those services, but she also thought about, would it also make sense for us to have a call first? And I said, yeah, let's do that. So I both shared the links and the brochures, which you can find online anyway, but I shared them as attachments as well to make it easy for her to go through. And then I also shared a link for her to book a discovery call, and we'll have that conversation so that I can tailor something to her. Because that's the other thing. Sometimes we are so quick to want to sell our, ready-made solution, and people are thinking, but you're not listening to me. My situation is slightly different from that. My conditions are slightly differentiated from what you're talking about. Can you please listen to me first before you offer a solution? And you should have the flexibility to do that. And so you would find it is the psychographic, it is the experience that people have with you that leads them to want to buy. And it is a value that you add, and the ease with which people can engage with you, and especially where you have policy that reduces the risk of them engaging with your business. Like, okay, if you're not satisfied, you can return within a certain time. You can get your money. You can get your money back. You can try this for free for a certain number of days before you have to subscribe. And so people feel like, oh well, then I can unsubscribe at any time. I don't even have to explain. Yeah, I will do that. You might say, maybe just try a little bit of this, and if you like this element of it, then I can show you the entire offering of this thing. And that way you get your customers not only interested in what you have to offer, but willing to pay. And even when it comes to pay, you come out guns a blazing with what it is you have to offer, because what you're giving them is actually of that value. And as long as you profile them well, this is definitely your customer. Your ideal customer, they fit the profile. You can then come out with all those things that you are ready to be flexible about, you're ready to offer, just in case they weren't willing to go, fully with the entire thing, and let them know how else they can access what you have to give. So then you're giving this impression you're not just all about the money. You truly care about them and what concerns them, and you want to give a solution, and you so want to serve them that they would come back and take the next thing and take the next thing and let other people know about you. So as I'd mentioned, how people may show up later, how people may be tracking you for 6 months, a year, or even longer before they choose to transact with you, I want you to ask yourself this as we conclude. Do you maintain great, close, and generous relations with your ideal customer? So whether it's just when you show up, so what I'm doing right now, guys, I am giving you great value, which I would do if you had consulted me, as an individual. I would give you this value and you would pay for it. But I'm doing it, I don't like saying for free, but I'm doing it, to be generous. I'm doing it because I understand people right now are panicking and are wondering how to pivot differently. And so I want you to see that you have the tools, you have the solutions for what you want to do. You can do something similar in a context where you're not necessarily speaking to individuals that you've already engaged with, but it could just be, this is my niche market. This is my ideal client. You guys form the group that I'm speaking to. And then where you have captured, the numbers, the emails, all people you've actually engaged with, they have expressed interest in your products before, whether they've actually engaged you or not, the bought or not, or you have served them before and you have an add-on, you have something slightly different for them, then make sure that you have great relations with them, that you're close by, not too close, don't hound people down, and you're generous, continuously adding value to them. Excuse me, I feel like I need water again. And that way you stay, front and foremost in their minds, and they continue seeing what you're about. Because this is the other thing. Don't assume because you showed up a year, months, or whatever before, that people know what you're about right now, that what you're doing right now, that what you have to offer right now. Or even if you'd be talking about a specific service, like I've been speaking about the master plan class, that people necessarily even know what that is. Never assume anything. Even if you've actually spoken to that individual in detail and say, yeah, it's the same thing as I tried to offer you before. So like, are you for it or not? Do you want it or not? No. Start all over again, like it's fresh. Even if you know them by name, even if you went as far as invoicing, but things didn't happen, nurture that relationship as if you are courting them afresh. This is where you get the willingness to pay. So I want to recap. For you to know what your customers actually want and are willing to pay, start with you first, because obviously you're not going to go out there and start investing in things you have no interest and no capacity to deliver. There is no sure way of killing your personal brand. Ask yourself, what do I consistently do well? What do people come to me for? What do I enjoy doing and don't even notice the time go by? If there are several things, choose what you're starting with, because remember, when you start engaging with your ideal customer, it's the same people because they congregate at a certain place, right? And so my people are on Facebook, Instagram, they're on LinkedIn, they're on Twitter. They actually happen to be on all those four. I'm speaking to professionals, career and business leaders. So if I appreciate, it's like me going out with the same message to my husband and kids every day. They're going to say, what's wrong with you? Do you have amnesia? You're coming to us saying this every single day. Or if I come in and say something different, they're like, what's up with you? You said this yesterday. Today you're coming with this. The day after, people won't take you seriously. So you must think about, number one, what you can consistently do well, and decide which one of those things, if you have several, that you want to put forward to the people you're speaking to. You can always add on. So when I'm talking to you about coaching, at some point I will throw in one of my books, which are relevant, to career, to business, to your personal brand. At some point, you might hear that I was speaking at a certain platform. So things like that. You start with the area that you see that you're best suited for. And number two, who do you feel called to? Those that you feel called to serve, what they need the most, what is their greatest pain, and why are they so particularly affected by this than any other demographic? And really understand their profile, their age and their gender and their marital status and where they work and their income bracket. You can, where they live, what kind of things interest them, who they follow. Who they follow also matters. Who they follow, what topics they're interested in. When they search for solutions in this area, what kind of keywords do they use? You can get all of these stats online, by the way, so that you truly understand them. Do they have children? How many children do they have? Do they commute? Do they work from home? What is their story, to understand them well. Number three, how have you been engaging them till now? Before you make this ask to sell something to them? Have you proven yourself as a person, as a business that is ever visible, that is relevant to their needs, and especially now that things have changed, to the needs of the situation they're in at the moment, and that you add value? Not only are you present and you're nice and you're cute and you take nice pictures, do you add value? Like, are you really moving their lives from one place to the other? Because there's somebody who, I've been following, there's this book I shared with you guys, Story Brand, and Don Miller says people are interested in two things: whether you can help them survive or thrive. If you're not going to be able to help them with that, then they're not interested in listening to you. So you've just been really cool, really cute. That's nice. But I'm not going to do business with you because I'm not sure how you're going to help me be really whatever that I need. And so, yeah. So you guys know, because of your needs, I'm not out here trying to show you how cool and cute I am, which I'm not even, maybe a little cute, but cool, no. Cool, like I'm past cool, if there's ever a time that I was cool. But I understand, as career and business leaders, some of the things that you need, and I need to be those. And I can do those with nice little poses and whatever, but primarily I need to add value to the things that concern you, because I am positioning as your executive leadership coach, career advisor, and business consultant. I want to position myself as a guide for you and your businesses and your leadership. Number 4, I want to ask you what makes you so confident that they will actually buy from you. And I told you all the ways you can research, both in person and online. You're welcome, Kathy. You're welcome, Lydia. That you can find out, that can boost your confidence that they actually, yes, they would be interested. They would be interested because they have a high demand for this thing right now. They would be interested because I've noticed when I search them on social media, they're interested in these topics. They search about these topics often. They're in these groups. They follow these people that are experts in these areas, that they, prices for this thing have not gone up to this, and people like them are paying at that price point. So I can feel confident that, according to my research, that they would be interested. And research aside, I can also look at how they've engaged with me, the questions they've been asking me, and I've helped them, answer. The posts that I'm putting out that most interests them shows that they would be interested in getting this service from me right now. Then number 5, do you have a system to capture them, to nurture them, to engage with them? That could be why you're leaving money on the table. There's just not a system. You don't have a net built in where people can access you easily, can engage with you, can find out what you're doing. You do not want to get caught in a situation where you're talking about what you can offer. Don't just talk about it. Give people something to read. Give people something to watch. Take them somewhere where they can get more information and they can easily, securely pay and minimize the risk. Should they be maybe, on borderline, minimize the risk for them engaging with you with guarantees, whether it's return policies, money back, no questions asked, whatever it is that you can do. And then number 6, do you maintain, great, close, general relations with them? Whether they engage you at all, even if they didn't, whether they bought from you, they didn't, or they've just been having conversations with you. Do you have a way in general like this, like what I'm doing? You guys are my ideal client, but there are many of you. I haven't engaged all of you one-on-one, except to say thank you or maybe answer a comment. But for those that will DM me, those that will email me, those that will go to my website and subscribe to my newsletters or subscribe to a service and have a conversation with me about some of my services. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, my people, I have alarms for many things. That was my alarm going off, and Instagram disappeared for a little bit. So I want you to consider doing that as you understanding better what your customers want and are willing to pay for. We continue with this tomorrow. Entrepreneurs, you've got this. But it'll take a little bit more planning, strategizing, pivoting. And I think the world is presented with a great opportunity for us to rethink the way we've been doing things so that we can come out stronger. All right. So until tomorrow, have a wonderful day. I recommend that you subscribe to Purpose and Excellence Academy because that's where I have a lot of these resources. And feel free to DM me or look for me on hello@modesta.africa, and let's have a conversation about your specific path as an entrepreneur, especially how you're positioning to adjust and really speak to your customer base or even your market niche in these times of crisis. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch up with you soon.